Okay, call our meeting back to order. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think today, to lead us in the pledge, I'm going to ask one of our distinguished teachers from Topeka High, Mr. Larry Casson, to lead us in the pledge. Oh, did it really?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. So I didn't realize you had been called to do this last meeting, so.
It's an honor for me.
There you go. Two independent, requesters. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt? Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? None seen. I think we are ready to vote.
We will try. I think this is the only one working. Online voting should now be open. All votes are in. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is our hearing that we are going to have today for the budget, academic year 16-17. Before we actually open the public hearing, I first want to acknowledge and ask if they'd like to lead us and say anything. Deputy Superintendent Mr. Robbins, I also see Mr. Meeky, Ms. Mansfield. If anyone would want to brief us. If not, we'll be prepared to open the hearing. That's the signal, I guess. We'll now open the public hearing on the academic year 16-17 budget. If there are any patrons or members of the public who would like to come and address the board on the budget that's been published in our circulation of record, now's your opportunity to do so. We will give you, we'll finish up in a minute. Yes. Okay, so I guess since I see no patrons or no one who wants to address the board, I'm going to close the hearing and move on to our next item on the agenda. What that means, just so everyone knows, is that our next, or actually later today, we'll be looking to pass the budget. We'll take a, excuse me, if I'm presumptuous, we'll be looking to vote on the budget as a governing body. So our next item on the agenda is school highlights, and coming forward to address the board, I see Ms. Kruger.
So for tonight's school highlights, we have. Okay, for tonight's school highlights, we have a generous supply of donations of school supplies that are coming from Prairie Band Casino and Resort, and this is actually just a portion of what they brought. The rest is already downstairs. A pile about that size already down there. So with that, I would like to have Bert with Prairie Band Casino and Resort come forward. I think he has a few words he'd like to say to the board tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present you with 65 boxes of school supplies. I know it's a tough time. I know that our schools are suffering at times, and this is just a little thing from our customers and from our casino to you. This is just a small donation of the 300 boxes that our customers donated for the state of Kansas, not including paper. So. And hopefully, I'd like to recognize the team that did this, our database team does this, this is our second year, and hopefully we will do this for many years to come. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
May we ask your team to stand so we know who those members are? We thank you for your support.
Before you walk away, on behalf of the school district, we'd like to present you with this certificate of appreciation for your donation, and
Thank you
we
very much.
truly
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, that's certainly a great way to kick off our meeting. Thank you all so much. I think Dr. Anderson said it very well. We are so grateful for what you're doing for our students. It just really says a lot. So thanks, and you know, maybe I'll see you sometime. Our next item on the agenda is the disposition of business by consent. And we are prepared to, public communications. Do we have any public communications? Yeah, let's see what we have. Our disposition of business by consent.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the items of business by consent as presented and authorize the Board President and Superintendent to sign the special project and purchasing contracts for and on behalf of the Board of Education.
The motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any of the consent items? There is none. I think we're ready to vote.
I am.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes unanimously, 7-0.
Yeah, Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I failed to make note, but we might want to share with the rest of the board the proceeds from the sale of the historical tax credits that we had, which was an opportunity that we don't take advantage of very often. And maybe Mr. Robbins is going to explain all of that to folks.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That's great.
Thank you, Mr. President. As Mrs. Kurt indicated, it is an opportunity that we don't have often. We do receive historical tax credits for work that is done on historical building, such as Topeka High. I think this board realizes that there's a number of times that we bring projects to this board and ask for approval to do work at Topeka High, whether it's major maintenance or other facility improvement items. And we have, over the course of a few years, accumulated tax credits as a result of that work. We had tax credits that had accumulated in the amount of a little over $233,000. We were able to go out for a public offering for those tax credits. We had, I think, 3 different entities that bid on those. And we were able to sell those tax credits at 92 cents on the dollar. So we ended up having a successful bid award of $214,000 that we were able to recoup and bring into the district. So we're very happy about that. I want to thank Mrs. Kurt, because Mrs. Kurt is the one who called and really urged us to take a look at that possibility. And we did so, and Mr. Binke was very instrumental in executing that sale.
I can't take credit. Somebody called me about it and said, "Don't you have those kinds of things?" And I thought, we should, and I don't remember who did it, so if that person would ever tell me who it was, I don't remember, but I knew it had to do with money, so I got to Larry right away, but I just make sure, if you want to talk to him also about the resolutions on their salary and the contract for teachers and et cetera, et cetera.
Sure may. If Mr. Robbins would want to give us an update on what we just passed, I think the public would definitely be interested in.
You know, we're very happy as a team, and when I say as a team, it's not just the district negotiation team. It's made up of myself, Ms. Tammy Austin, Mr. Gary Menke, and Ms. Carla Nolan. But it was also the team of NEAT representatives that were headed by the president, Ms. Stephanie Hartson, and also Richard Volojak, who was the chief negotiator for the NEAT side. We were happy that we were able to bring a successful conclusion in the form of a tentative agreement prior to teachers returning to the classroom. We have an agreement that both sides felt was acceptable, and that both sides felt that it was an agreement that certainly, hopefully, could be ratified. We looked at opportunities that we had to improve the competitiveness of our district when it came to not only recruiting but also retaining teachers. We ended up offering $700 on the base of the teacher's salary schedule, as well as horizontal and vertical movement. So that amounted to about a $1,200 increase for the base salary of a teacher. We also, in addition to that, made some changes and addendums that we felt would also make us more competitive in critical need areas so that we could, again, retain certified staff. So we were very happy with that, and I guess in addition to that, we were able to bring to the table, as a result of our negotiations with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, an insurance package that resulted in no premium increases. We did have some minor, I'll refer to them as minor design changes, but the premiums remained the same, so that did not end up having any sort of an adverse financial impact on our employees. So we're very happy with the package that was eventually ratified this past Monday night. So we're happy to have a resolution tonight for the board to approve. Not only increases for our certified staff, but also similar increases for our classified staff and also administrative staff. So anything that Ms. Hartson would like to add, please feel free to do so.
You may come to the mic and address us if you'd like to.
Thank you. I would also just second the comments that we feel like it was a very productive session and lots of great discussion. Beyond that, I think in addition to the things that Mr. Robbins has stated, also there was discussion about a lot of the work that our certified staff does to prepare for students to be ready that first day of school that happens actually outside our duty year. And so we have some ways of kind of creatively recognizing that and through some flex time and things like that, which we think will be a very positive drawing card for other teachers maybe considering our district, but also to really recognize the work of the teachers already doing that. And so that was a very appreciated overture offered by the district. And I think it's the first time we've really looked at all that extra work that happens before the school year begins, but we very much think it's vital to do that. We also had a little bit of recognition of the encouraging teachers or certified staff to gain additional education and to be more proficient in the classroom, and we also think that's an important move. So I think there are a lot of positives in this contract. I think we got very creative knowing that we didn't have a lot of money to work with, and we're happy about that. So ready to start another great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Any other comments from board members? Questions? I see none. The only thing I would add is, on behalf of, I'm sure I speak for the entire board, I know I do when I say, we clearly recognize that our most valuable resource, what we have, the way we get to children, is our human resource. So any opportunity we get to recognize that, to acknowledge that for teachers, and we probably don't get to do it as much as we'd like to, is one that we'd like to jump at. So thank you for your cooperation and the great negotiations team, and thank you to the administration on putting together a fair and equitable package that recognizes the great work that teachers do every single day. So helping me, and I've got kind of stakes times two. So you're helping me educate my children. So thank you. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report, and I think we'll go straight to the construction update, and I see Mr. Seitz here. Ready to present.
I'm just going to be in the audience. Unless he needs me. I
Oh,
think he does.
Mr. Robbins. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Didn't realize I'd be talking this much tonight. But anyway, we would like to take a few minutes and review for the board construction update. When we talk about construction and projects that we're going to review, these are projects that have been taken on and completed in most cases over the summer vacation period. We're going to be looking at not only our bond projects, but also projects that were part of our major maintenance plan that was approved previously by the board. I have with me Mr. Rob Seitz. I asked him to be close, not only if there were some questions that maybe I couldn't answer, but also to provide recognition and acknowledgement for the job that Rob and his team does on a daily basis. We are managing numerous projects, and Rob provides excellent oversight on those projects. His team contributes mightily, and we couldn't accomplish near what we're able to without his fine leadership and management of those projects. I'd like to begin by taking the board back 2 years, back to January of 2014, when we first started talking about the possibility of going out for a bond proposal. If you recall, we wanted to take a look at the economic impact that that $143 million bond proposal would have on the Topeka economy. We hired a firm called Impact Data Source out of Austin, Texas, to do an evaluation and analysis of that. And if you remember, they came back and said that this construction activity, where they were referencing $143 million, will pump $278.4 million into Topeka's economy, or have a total economic impact of $278.4 million. Create an estimated 628 total jobs each year doing construction, along with supporting $59.6 million in salaries for area construction workers and other workers. The projects will create an estimated $33 million in local taxable sales and spending and generate $874,698 for the city, county, and university. As we proceed with these projects, this is what the bond proposal and what this board is doing to pump life into the Topeka community. So I just wanted to kind of remind the board of the activity that's taken place and how it's benefiting not only the school district, but this entire community. Taking a look at our summer projects, we're going to begin with the bond projects. Hopefully, we're going to go through this in a very efficient manner so we can cover quite a bit of material, and hopefully within a reasonable amount of time. If you look at the bond projects this summer, we had a total of 16, slightly over 58 million. You see where the work took place and how many dollars were dedicated to each facility with the projects that were undertaken this past summer. Begin with Highland Park High School. We did put air conditioning in the gymnasium. If you recall, the air conditioning in the middle and high school gyms was one of the components of the bond proposal. You see the dollars associated with that. Topeka High School, we also air conditioned the gymnasium, but in addition to that, we spent $1.6 million with science classroom renovations. You see pictures there, just in case it's a little bit fuzzy on this big screen. Each one of the board members, you do have a packet there that you can follow along and see with quite a bit more clarity those pictures. The science classroom project was one that had a very tight window as far as completion, but we had a construction firm who put together a very good plan and executed it perfectly. And those science classrooms are ready at the beginning of school. Another science classroom project occurred at Chase Middle School along with air conditioning of the gyms. You see pictures there of the science classrooms with the renovation that took place at Chase. Eisenhower was the other middle school that we had the science classroom renovation this past summer. $448,000 along with $275,000 that was dedicated to air conditioning of the gymnasium. Jardine, for those of you who have toured Jardine, I know that Reverend Williams has been by there many a time, and this is quite a project. It's the largest single component of our bond proposal at $33 million. We worked on some middle school renovation this past summer. You see the hallways with new flooring and also work that took place in the restrooms. It really has brightened up that school and that area. Again, another fine job that was completed within a tight window. You see some other work that took place at Jardine with floor covering. To the right is one of the science classrooms. You see new carpet in the classroom to the left, and then at the bottom of the screen, you see all the steel work that is going up for the elementary wing of the Jardine campus. I will say that when it comes to Jardine, that project is moving along very well. We have a construction management firm that is overseeing that project, doing a great job. If you talk to them this past summer, even though they were trying to complete quite a bit of work, this was a construction company that went at it with the standpoint of, we don't have a plan B. Okay? This project is going to be complete and ready when school starts and when students come back. And there's no excuse for this not happening, and we're not going to put together a contingent plan on what to do if we are not finished with our work. So I really appreciated their attitude and commitment to completing the job. This is a number of projects took place at Landon, also the air conditioning of the gymnasium. Avondale West, we have not in previous updates that were given by our project management firm, DLR, since they are not managing the security aspects
of the bond project. There's not much mention of that, but we are handling the security piece, the lighting, the exterior lighting, also the door access, and those sort of things. The exterior lighting at Avondale West is complete, as well as the exterior lighting at Highland Park Central is something that was completed this summer. Lone Hill Elementary is one of the FEMA standard storm shelters, $1.4 million. You see pictures of that finished project. We're still working through a punch list, so we can't say that that is 100% complete and ready as we speak, but it will be shortly. Again, security cameras and door access system also was completed, worked on this summer. McCarter Elementary, this is one of the buildings where not only are we putting in a FEMA storm shelter, but we're also added brick and mortar classrooms. And that project was complete and ready. You see the FEMA shelter there on the right, one of the classrooms on the left. Some of the outside work that is still taking place, we're still working on putting the playground back together, and also the exterior lighting is complete, along with security cameras and the door access system. McEachern, this is one of the projects that unfortunately is behind schedule. This, like McCarter, was a project that not only has a FEMA shelter, but also has brick and mortar classrooms added. What you see in this set of photos is all in the southern section of the school that is being added. Originally, we had a target completion date of August the 9th, so that we were ready with the entire project for school to start. We missed that deadline, and right now, to complete the entire project, we are estimating that it will probably be the end of September before this total project is completed. All the classrooms and the storm shelter. Exterior lighting at Quincy, exterior lighting also at Randolph and Whitson were projects that have been completed. The Boyston building conversion to Capital City, that was a $10.2 million project. This is another project that is behind schedule. Again, we had the same target completion date of August the 9th. We are not ready, as you can tell from the photos. Again, we're estimating that it's going to be the end of September, probably early October, before this building is totally completed. Realizing at one of our updates that we were not going to be ready by August the 9th, we made a decision not to move the students and staff from the existing Cap City building to the new building, but still to stay in the old Cap City, or I should say the existing Cap City building, for at least the first semester, to give them ample time to complete this project. When it is completed, I think the board will be very satisfied with what the new Cap City, the Boyston building, looks like, and the environment and atmosphere that we're going to have for both students and staff as they transition over. This is a list of where we have completed projects when it comes to security camera and door access. That is a list of the buildings up to this point that have been completed with this project. Next, we have a list of the buildings that are to be completed, and also the order that you see there is the order that we plan to work systematically through each one of the buildings to add the security camera and door access systems. So this is the order that you can expect going forward, that we'll have future projects taking place. The exterior lighting, again, is a list of the facilities and buildings where we have completed adding new exterior lighting. If you've been by any of those buildings that we have completed in the evening, you see that there is a dramatic improvement in how well lit those campuses are and how it has increased the safety of that environment and also been a deterrent to vandalism. Exterior lighting yet to be completed. Again, this is the order in which these buildings will be tackled and completed for the exterior lighting. Going to major maintenance. Major maintenance, we had 31 projects. The board approved about $3.7 million, $3,788,000 to be exact. This is a summary of the expense by building where we had major maintenance projects this past summer. Just to kind of give you a flavor for what we tackled in some of the buildings. Again, going back to Highland Park, we had floor replacement, added a fence between the main building and the daycare that is there, as well as some bleacher repair. What you see is the old floor on the left and the new floor on the right, as far as the floor replacement that took place. And there's some additional floor work that took place. You can see how it really enhances the appearance of our school buildings. Topeka High School, a number of different individual projects, part of major maintenance. If you have not been to the Topeka High, what you will really get a thrill out of looking at is the new decor there in the digital classrooms. This is a picture. You notice the ceiling. So it has really, again, improved and enhanced the appearance in a classroom. Also, one of the major maintenance projects was the parking lot that was to the west of the high school. You see the improvement that took place with that project. Also in Topeka West, again, floor work that took place. Believe it or not, it's only because of the lighting where it looks like the floor on the left is brown. It's really the same floor. It's gray in color. It's kind of hard to tell from this photograph, but you see the floor replacement. Also, we had a project to remodel the locker room, and you see what the new remodeled locker room at Topeka West looks like now. So again, dramatic improvement. Chase Middle School, we had carpet replacement in classrooms for about $80,000. You see the one classroom there. Landon Middle School, floor replacement. Again, in the hallways, you see how that has improved the appearance of that middle school. Robinson, we had concrete replacement, which you have before and after pictures to your right. To the left is the gymnasium door replacement that took place with the new doors down at the bottom left-hand side of this slide. Bishop Elementary, $10,000 that we spent on carpet replacement. You see the old carpet to the left and the new carpet after it was installed in the picture on the right. Highland Park Central, window replacement. This happens to be, anytime we do the window replacement, it's one of my favorite major maintenance projects because it improves the appearance, the curb appeal of the building so much to replace those windows. We have the dark bronze windows you see on the left before and on the right after those windows have been replaced. Lone Hill Elementary, we enclose all of the components there, those technology components. They're out in the open. We built and encased those components inside a room. You see the room on the right after we have built walls and added a door. McCarter, parking lot and drive addition. In addition to the bond work that took place there, the parking lot and drive addition was $300,000. We also had a ceiling and light replacement. You see the old lights in the photo to the left. This is the new lighting and also the new parking facility that is currently in existence now at McCarter Elementary School. Meadows, floor and carpet replacement for $170,000. You see the before. This is the after. If you've been to Meadows, I can tell you if you've been there, and Rob had this suggestion, and I think he's right in feeling this way. The principal there, Nicole Johnson, we're going to put her on retainer to inspect all of our floor installations. She walked me around and pointed out some of the deficiencies that she saw and what should not have happened. So she examines that work with a very close eye. So we're going to use her services there at the service center on future major maintenance projects. Quincy Elementary was another window replacement, $193,000. You see the before in this picture, and this is the after. If you've driven through there, you can see there's quite a bit of difference in the appearance of Quincy after the window replacements took place. This is the work that we did to improve the playground equipment and playground area there at Quincy too as a major maintenance project. Ross Elementary, probably the project that I'll really point out here was the remodeled cafeteria and multi-purpose room. You see the before on the left versus the new cafeteria multi-purpose room on the right. Again, dramatic improvement. Scott Magnet, rooftop unit replacement. You see what those units look like prior to this replacement work on the left versus the new units that are being installed on the right. This was a $350,000 project. Whitson, fence replacement. We added fencing to this facility. You see the new fencing there on the right, in addition to the existing fencing that was currently in place on the left for $70,000. Williams, again, this was a carpet replacement project, also epoxy floor replacement. Those are the pictures that you're looking at after that work took place. Also the roof replacement at the bottom right-hand corner of the slide. Burnett Center, this work is currently taking place. We are tearing out what is old and dilapidated siding and also windows. We're getting quite a bit of moisture in the building whenever we have rain or snow. So we are trying to address that so we can eliminate all of that moisture and the possibility of mold. That project is taking place. The good thing that we're hearing initially is that as they tear into this siding, it is not as bad as what they had originally anticipated they would encounter. And up to this point, we started on the northeast side of the building, that most of the water and moisture seems to be coming in from around the window sills. But that is just one section of the building that we started at yet. We can't really say at this point that that would hold true for the entire building. Sheldon Child Development Center, ballast retrofit. You see the old ballast and also the new on the left. That is all that we have to share with you as far as a construction update is concerned. Both our bond projects and also our major maintenance projects that we tackled this past summer. Any questions?
Ms. Kirk?
I just have to check because this was a complaint that came and I took it to Ron. The windows, do we get rid of all those holes in the floor when we redid the floors? In the classrooms, I know it was in the 5th grade classroom, and they were all
I know
receptacles.
what you're talking about, and we actually, because I think we walked through that all the way back in 2013, if I remember.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
We bought all new covers.
And I'm sorry, can you come to the microphone, because this is the first meeting that is actually being taped for our cable TV station.
Absolutely.
And so that as they hear the question, they can also hear the answer.
Okay. So at Meadows, Williams, and Scott, because they're all designed similar, inside each classroom, you would have a recessed receptacle that takes in, like for instance, anything that you need from a data standpoint or electric or what have you. And the old covers were starting to deteriorate to the point where some of the covers were broken, chairs would slide inside them and things of that nature. And so we took it upon ourselves to find a better, sturdier cover, and we've gone through and replaced all of those. And that was, we identified that in a walkthrough, I remember.
Right, you and I did that.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That was, someone had said, when the last time I checked them, they said it hadn't been done yet, so that was probably 2 years ago. I can't even remember when we done that, but thank you. And the benefit of the rest of the board, when does Hope Street get their air conditioning in the gym?
Before May, right?
I was just gonna check, is that gonna be before May?
That was one of the later projects.
The renovation is later, but we can talk about if we want to do that ahead of have a conversation about that.
Well, I was actually being somewhat facetious, but I thought that, I knew it was one of the later projects, but every time I go in there, I think, oh, I can't wait until they get that air conditioned.
Facetious.
You think about
but-
graduation.
That's right.
However, it may earn you some points.
There's the horror stories that it's a little toasty enough for graduation.
It's a very, very toasty.
Dr. Mickelson.
Mr. Seitz, if you could go back to the podium and answer this question, that'd be great. You and I visited about the parking lot west of Topeka High School, and we saw photographs where the parking lot has been repaired, the alley which belongs to the city. Can you update us on the stats of that?
I can. I think that you had asked me a similar question when we talked about this before. We finished the west lot, closest and adjacent to the auto shop and in between what they call the Pomeroy House, I guess, and then it's divided by an alley, and then there's another lot on the other side. We will do that lot next summer, and the city committed that they will do that alley, but it's not slated to be done until 2019, so their commitment was that they would improve that as best they can with the potholes and what have you. I am, however, pleased to say that Bettis Asphalt, who did the work for us, had leftover asphalt, and they filled in quite a lot of those holes. I was actually able to drive in a straight line down that alley.
Did you send them a bill?
Thank you for that update.
Any other questions or comments from board members? No, thank you, Mr. Robbins, for a great update.
Thank you, and if there aren't any other questions, just to let the board know that we'll be coming back very soon with our major maintenance request for this upcoming school year.
I see Dr. Anderson coming to the mic with a couple of very special things. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
I do, and I believe Ms. Kruger will be joining me with certificates as well. I think first, Mr. Robbins and the entire team from Facilities and Service Center have done an extraordinary job. That's 20, 30 minutes worth of projects. That's a long list. That was a 100-page PowerPoint, and I said, surely there aren't this many projects, but that's a lot. So I think he certainly deserves an applause for just I have never seen that many projects done at one time. That's pretty remarkable. So this is the first meeting that is televised, and we, or will be televised. We do want to mention that at your tables, you have the first sneak peek of the annual report calendar. And as the superintendent's update, we want to make sure that those that are in the audience that are staff, you will get what used to be the parent calendar. It's still a parent calendar, but it's now an annual report calendar with data, pictures from the various schools. And we saved funds in that previously there was a Spanish calendar and an English. Well, now it's all combined in one. So one calendar with one printing cost. I'm excited about that. I thank Mrs. Kruger and her team, Mrs. Locke, and the printer who helped get that done. At this time, Ms. Kruger, if you would please come forward. As she comes forward and we prepare for the superintendent's update, I do want to share with you as the strategic plan update that you approved Cross and Josses, who's been here previously 8 years ago. They did an audit of special ed and some other areas. That same company will be doing the strategic plan consulting. They'll run focus groups. They'll be speaking with the board. So you can look forward to that process as the update. We are excited that the pictures that you are seeing are from the first day from two particular schools. We started school this week and we had approximately 14,000 students. This is, from what I've been told, one of the smoothest starts of the year in that all of the students on the bus arrived and got home without one phone call of an issue. So that was a wonderful step in the right direction. And part of that step, in part, was because of the incredible work of the team. All members of central office, the teaching and learning team, Ms. Wallace, if you would stand, she volunteered her entire department. Also, Ms. Grossadier, who's not here at this moment, but she is under Mrs. Caspers, who also volunteered to go and check in on schools. And of course, the amazing directors, Ms. Erickson and Dr. Hester, both participated in visiting every school. Every school had a substitute, every elementary school had a substitute on hand, as well as they also had a person from teaching and learning, or Ms. Grossadier, Dr. Harrington, and of course, Ms. Austin, myself, and the rest of the team. So we had a good start, and all of you all visited, right? Had a good visit. So we've had a very smooth start to the year. So with that smooth start to the year, we received great news about two principals. At this time, these two principals will talk about the start of the year. Every year, we're going to invite principals to come up and tell you how the year started from the principal's perspective. Prior to them talking about that, and these are pictures from their school, prior to them talking about that, we would like to call up first Mr. Dustin Dick from Topeka West, who earned the distinction of being one of the top 20 leaders in Topeka under 40. Call up the next principal. Stay on up here, Mr. Dick, because when we're done, then he will go ahead and share a little bit about his school, and then the next school will share. And when we conclude, if you could stay so you could take a picture with the board, that would be fantastic. Our next principal, Mrs. Sarah Lucero, who I've been to both of their buildings. She is one of the most energized people I have ever met. 600 students in an assembly, approximately, and just like that, can get order and get them dancing, and pretty amazing. So Ms. Sarah Lucero is also one of the top 20 leaders under 40. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over first to Mr. Dustin Dick to talk about the things that happened the first and second day of school, and to share any other new items regarding the schedule or any other items that he'd like to talk about in the next few minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. I am under 40. I've answered that. I don't know how many times in the last 2 days. I'm 37. Don't let the grade fool you. I am under 40. You wouldn't believe how many times in the last 2 days. And I still get looks from people that don't believe it. So, kind of like Dr. Anderson said, I have had the best start to a school year that I have ever had. I can't remember a time that has been a smoother start to a year, or really a more exciting and energetic start to a year. We had some opportunities presented to us early on in the last few weeks to make some adjustments in our schedule, do some things that we felt were very good and important for kids, and they help learning at Topeka West. And the staff has embraced that in a way that I've never experienced before. The energy level, the excitement of teachers and all getting ready to go back to school, working on collaboration plans and common formative assessments, and really getting into discussions about instructions and how one teacher teaches a topic in their classroom compared to another, and the desire to look at data with one another and have that impact what they do in a classroom. I haven't seen a group of teachers in any of my years that excited and that ready to do something like that. And so that's been a very exciting start to the year for me. It has really led to a great year, or a great start to the year for students. And so for us on our first day, many of you know, our Lake Crew students, our mentor students, run that day for us. It's a student-run day from the beginning. And so the freshmen come, they start the day walking through, you can kind of see the gauntlet of staff and some of the pictures. As they come in, there's the staff having a little fun before the students got into the gym. But they do that, the students run the whole day. They tour the campus with them, they do team building activities with them, and it's all student-led throughout the day. Those kids they're broken up into smaller groups of about 15 students per pod, is what they call them. And they do team building activities and other things to get acclimated to Topeka West and be much more comfortable there. For us, for the last several years, then that evening has always traditionally been our back to school night and open house. And so we just make it one long day. The Booster Club provides a barbecue, little cookout, hot dogs and drinks and everything for all the parents and any students that want to come. We handed out 500 hot dogs this year. What we think was about 600 people on the quad that evening for the cookout. Then at 6:30, we have open house. They all visit all the classrooms, get to know the teachers, kind of the expectations for the year. And then for the first time, we did a senior parent meeting that evening to talk about college access, college applications, graduation progress, kind of your senior year, what to expect, who everybody is you need to know at Topeka West that can help you with all of those things. And we had 71 families participate that evening in the auditorium, which we were blown away because I think we put that together in 3 days and decided we would try to do that evening. We'll also do another night later in September to follow up on that and try to catch the rest of them. So each student had a folder so we could keep track of who came and who didn't. So I think there's lots of good things going on. We've expanded our dual credit offerings. We expect to have, if we're lucky, I hope to have twice as many students participating in dual credit classes. We have funds available to scholarship 5 students this year to pay for classes for them to take at Washburn, so we're excited about being able to do that for students. We've got our partnership with the Kansas Children's Service League and our parent engagement coordinator, and she's already hitting the ground running, contacting families and trying to really help us engage families that traditionally we've struggled to engage. And those are a lot of our most struggling students by the end of the freshman year. And so she has a targeted group of people she's working with, and she's already made tremendous strides with several families, bringing them to school, introducing them to people, helping them navigate the enrollment process and just getting started with school and being more comfortable in being there. So I think that's about everything I have to say, but it's really been a wonderful start to school. Sure. Questions?
Any questions or comments from board members?
First of all, I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I'm definitely proud of you and the work you're doing at Topeka West. You mentioned one item regarding how you're able to fund the scholarships for students that are wanting to go to. What did that process look like?
So every student that takes a class at Washburn, so across the county, any of the high schools that do dual credit classes through Washburn University, the students pay for the class. It's taught by our teachers on campus, and for the most part, in almost all of the classes, they use our resources. Washburn gives us a rebate per student for every student that takes a class from them. So at Topeka West, we give a portion of that rebate back to the classroom for the supplies and materials that they use throughout the semester for that class. We set another portion aside as for scholarships for students. And so we just continually, semester after semester, refund that pool of money off of that rebate so we can scholarship more students to go on and take classes through Washburn that wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to do that.
How exciting, that's wonderful. And so how many students did you say?
We'll scholarship 5 this semester. Last spring was the first time we had done that. We scholarshiped 2. And usually we target students that are already enrolled in the class. They're going to take it, but they don't have the ability to pay for the credit to be able to do it. So we just ask teachers to give us those names, and we just take care of it. There's no real application process. It's pretty strictly based on need.
Follow up on that, how many students will be taking dual credit? And if it works out like you hope?
If it works out like I hope, we will have somewhere between 110 and 150. The most we've had prior to that was 67.
Students or classes?
Classes.
Okay.
Some of them take multiple classes. So the most we've had is 67 classes taken in one semester.
Great. That's a wonderful way to get 6 or 9 hours out of the way
Yes.
easily and,
Yeah,
and,
if you,
and for less money too, so.
If you started as a junior and really worked at it pretty hard, you can leave with about 30 credit hours before you graduate.
Okay, there are no further comments or questions for Dustin. Congratulations. I was not at all questioning the fact that you're under 40. I don't know what's wrong with those other people.
I don't know either. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you because I'm very excited. The award I received is because many of the people in this room have supported me, and you know, a lot of you watched me from teacher to where I'm at now. So I just want to thank you for that. Our first day was amazing, like always, but this year it was the energy from the teachers, not just the students, that I fell in love with. Our teachers left when we had our district-wide assembly, feel empowered, hyped up, celebrated, all the good news. That was just wonderful. So they were ready to rock and roll. We had wonderful PD. You just saw a picture of the dads up there with watchdogs. And for many people, that picture might look like just a bunch of fathers, but for me, that picture symbolizes the sense of community that we have in our school now. The fathers showed up to help our kids, and it was so cute to watch them bend down and help our little kindergartners and find their classroom. And so I definitely say empowerment and definitely community. And another thing that we really felt, our very own DeAndre Hicks got to speak at the convocation, and he really, I was telling the teachers this last year, I tell them, know your power, know the impact you make, but for some reason when that kid speaks, people believe it. And so this year, so far, we've really been believing the power of one, knowing that we are that one for someone. And I've been just reminding myself, wow, you've been that one for that little kindergartner. Wow, you've been that one for that 4th grader. So for all of us to hear that message and be on the same page and help each other out, it's been great. One of the exciting things that we started at our school this year that was new was breakfast in the classroom, and it's been amazing. The kids have come in calmer. We have more kids eating breakfast. There's a stronger sense of community going on. And I just got to walk in the classrooms this morning. It was just peaceful. Like we used to be in the hallways like, okay, you gotta get to class, get to class. Kids are like, to class. And I was looking down the hall and I was like, where is everybody? They're all in the classroom meeting. So those were all the wonderful things going on. We were lucky to have Dr. Gomez come to our school, who is one of the brothers that founded our program, and really got to work with him and strengthen our program and all get on the same page. So actually tonight I was with teachers who wanted to stay after school and learn more and work together, and they asked for it. They said, we'll stay late, we'll come on the weekends, they want to learn. So those are all the wonderful things. Questions?
questions for Ms. Lucero, Dr. McCarthy?
Congratulations to you. None of us were surprised to see either of your names on that list. We know we have the most talented principals in the county.
Well, thank you.
Tell us how the transition went for our new teachers from Spain.
Oh yeah, that was great. This is our third year now having teachers from Spain, so we're getting better on our part as well as not just at the school, but the whole community, knowing what it is, what they're going to need. There was also a lot of more teacher work time in the classroom this year, which really helped them calmer, having that time to work and plan things and partner with others and talk. So that made a big difference as well. And we also know what kind of supports, we have a better idea. So the transition's been smooth. It's been really great. And I said I had my teachers meeting today after school, and many of us have grown up as Spanish here in the United States. So a lot of the vocabulary words we don't have that they have, so we just learned the Spanish word for cubbies, none of us knew before. So they're teaching us a lot, and it's been a great exchange. Or sometimes we argue over which word's correct. Mexican Spanish or Spain Spanish, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I should say the Spaniards before too have also been a great support. So even though the Spaniards who have left, they actually network and have told me, here's apartments, here's cars and stuff. So that is something good that they've done for the future ones.
Dr. Mickelson?
How many Spanish, how many teachers of Spain do we have in program now?
Right now we have 5.
Or do we have any in Landon? Are there any in Landon?
We had one they left.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just checking. Okay, thank you.
I too want to say congratulations to you. We're proud of you and all that you've done. And I will say, the times I get to come to your school, I can never find a parking space, which is a good problem to have because it shows that your community is really feeling like they have ownership and they feel comfortable there. And I just say kudos regarding now adding the dads to that formula. It just continues to reiterate, how we need to nurture our children. So thank you for all the work you've done. You've got many awards down, and we look forward to many more. We look forward to celebrating you again.
Thank you.
Well, so the only thing I would add, really, felicitación.
Yeah.
We are really proud. We're not surprised again. Same thing I told Dustin. Well, obviously, you're not 40, but.
Were you wondering?
No,
we have hair dye for ladies.
But we're not. As Dr. McCarthy said, we're not surprised. We do have the most talented crowd of principals. 2 of our best here, and we look forward to seeing what you do since you're under 40. What are you going to do when you grow up? That's the exciting part. So thanks very much. We have a special, obviously, since you're my kid's principal. So thanks for what you do for all of the students and for all of our students, and congratulations.
Thank you.
That concludes my update and the strategic plan, unless there are any other questions about the start of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's do that, yeah. We could go ahead and do it now. We'll come back and vote on the budget.
us on?
Yeah. We're on 3, 1, 2.
Thank you. Yes. And you know, there's always a, there's
Okay, so our next item on the agenda is our lone action item tonight, and that's approval of the 16-17 budget. It's now time for us to vote. Before we do, Ms. Mansfield or Mr. Minky, or Deputy Superintendent Robbins, anyone?
Hi, good evening. We are here tonight to hopefully vote that the Board of Education will approve and adopt the 2016-17 budget as reflected in the published Code 99 and Code 01 certificate to the clerk of Shawnee County.
Okay. Are there, Ms. Johnson? There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? Ms. Kirk, thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion at all? If not, then I'll add one thing that I'm pretty excited about. I want to applaud. I'll announce now, I'm going to vote for this affirmatively. I assume most people will. But I want to applaud the administration for a masterful job in putting together a budget that allows us to do everything that we need to do in terms of reaching students, remaining competitive, in terms of attracting top talent. And to do that, we are actually decreasing our mill levy, which is significant, given the constraints that we work under right now, and kind of the mess that's created downtown, and not knowing what budget numbers to even input until, what was it, June? Did they get all the way down to the 30th? 27th, yeah. June the 27th, and to have this budget done now tells me that we've been doing an excellent job managing our funds all year long. So thank you all, and I applaud you guys for the great job that you're doing. I'm proud to work with you. So no more questions or comments on the motion. If not, then I think we're ready to vote.
Just add one more thing.
Yes, Dr. McCarthy.
I think just a big thank you to our patrons for giving us the authority to raise the LOB. In their wisdom, they saw that we were going to need this, and the fact that we were able to do that and make use of that and still bring in a lower mill levy is awesome.
Amen. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. The motion passes 7-0. We have our budget for 16-17 approved. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So the best budget team in the entire county, in the entire state, walking out here right now. That's right. Okay. So we've reached the point in our agenda where it's time for comments from board members, and I think what we're going to do today is start down on the end like we usually do with Ms. Kirk.
I have two items. One is to say thank you to staff and Dr. Anderson for the wonderful convocation. I mean, everybody was so pumped when they came out of there. The excitement was catching. I mean, people caught it from each other. Everybody started getting excited, and our kids that performed for us were wonderful. They started it off, and then everything went on. It was positive. I really liked, especially reintroducing the award winners, staff award winners. You know, we do that every year, but it's such a small group. It's just usually the families of the people. And this time, everybody got to hear who these people and see who they were. So I really thought that was special. So thank you. I was excited, and I'm an old cynical person, so if I get excited, it's got to be pretty good. The other thing I want to say is that we always have our annual board picnic, and we keep getting it later and later in the year. Before long, it's going to be Christmas. So I told Scott this time it was his turn, but he said something about he might not have air conditioning or something, so if he can't do it, I would go back to doing again, although I no longer have a pool that anybody can get into. But so I will leave it up to Scott, but we really do need to set some time because all of our schedules get so crowded. I would like us to set on a date tonight, if we could please do that, Mr. President. Okay, thank you.
I had a great time with Mrs. Austin on it. It's the Eisenhower, Ross, Island Park Central, and Island Park day before yesterday. It was funny over at Highland Park. I was just looking at the incoming freshmen. They were trying to be, I'm a high schooler, but at the same time scared to death. The other thing I wanted to comment on was Saturday I went to the Fan Appreciation Day at the greatest university in the state of Kansas, otherwise known as Kansas State University. We went down on the field afterwards, and what made me proud was there were two young men on the field from Topeka High School, Will Geary and Mike McCoy. Many of you may or may not know that Will Geary was a walk-on at K-State this past year, first team All Big 12. So from 501, you can attain great heights.
Certainly would attribute it to his Topeka Public Schools education and not institutional materials.
So one of the highlights for me typically is graduation, but I in retrospect, think the first day of school is even better. To watch parents drop their kindergartners off for the first day of their educational, formal education, or pre-K students too, I suppose, but they didn't start yet. It's kind of fun to see parents walk out and a little teary-eyed, some of them, but full of hope that their child will succeed in our schools, and the teachers are there to support them. So it was a good day to visit the schools I visited. I have to check with my wife, and our home is certainly available. Air conditioner's still working, so I'm going to continue to do so, save my pocketbook. And then the third thing I had on my list, we looked at a policy change to charge tuition to out-of-district students. I understand the reasoning for that. I just think it's unfortunate that we are forced to do that with the block grant system. We have students from outlying districts who may not have programs available to them because of the size of our district. Think of a band student who wants to be in the cruise line at Topeka High, drum line, or an orchestra student, or a band person that wants to go over to Topeka West Band, run their big band, or a robotics student at Highland Park. ROTC students that don't have that available in some of their smaller surrounding school districts. And because of the block grant and really the lack of educational or funding foresight by our legislature, we're forced to charge tuition, and I'm not certain that's the right thing to do for public education. I get why we're doing it, but really we're trying to support kids, and we have to be able to provide support and education and services for the kids within our own district. But it's unfortunate that we're forced to go to charging tuition for out-of-district students that want to take advantage of some of the programs we can offer.
Well, I too would like to say, I definitely enjoyed the convocation of this year, and I continue to go out to the mall, work, wherever, and I see people that say that was just so fantastic, and how inspired they really are. When I think about Mr. Hicks and his presentation, I definitely, he's so profound in his own way, but I wonder how many of the students we have throughout our population, our students, that have that potential and just that opportunity to tap into it. Even he brought up the point that everyone, not only those in the classroom, the custodian, the person who served lunch, and just very profound. And then my first day of school was a lot of fun. Mrs. Wallace was kind enough to drive me around this year. Very patient woman, because I like to spend a lot of time with the kids and the staff. But definitely enjoyed ourselves, enjoyed the little kindergartners, and enjoyed seeing a lot of the projects that you showed on this evening, you know, in person. The gym at Quincy, beautiful. And just the detail that went into it. The floors are soft, so the gym teacher happened to be in there giving us a personal tour. And he said, well, we don't have to worry about so many young people being heard, but the quality that you see all the way through. So thank you for that. I did want to bring up one thing. You had given us so much, I had to just sit there and absorb it. But I did have a patron ask about windows on the west side of Jardine. They were wondering, they said that right now they're not matching. They wondered if we're going to make it so that they match all on the west side by the time it's over. I assume so by the time we get this whole project going by the 22.
So same thing, absolutely wonderful experience on the first day of school. I was led around by the energetic Miss Erickson, which was really fun. And you could tell as we entered the buildings how proud the principals were, what ownership they had over their buildings, and how much they felt supported by Mrs. Erickson. That was a real positive. Kids were engaged, every classroom we poked into. And we started out at Eisenhower, so I got to see the Eisenhower population gathering for their first kind of all-school assembly, and it was going well. So that was impressive for Leosha to be pulling that off. So that was great. The convocation, I agree to, and I really love two things especially about it. I thought the student speaker really was emblematic of the theme that you've chosen, students first. That made it very visible and very present. And also that you've embraced the spirit of partnership that we have been trying to cultivate in the district of relying on our partner educational institutions and businesses and community members and everyone, so that everybody in the community really has ownership of our schools. I also had, in the afternoon on Thursday, I got to present to teachers as part of their PD, and that was really fun too. Teachers were obviously very excited about the beginning of the school year, really thinking about what they wanted for their students. So that was a nice opportunity too. So great start. And this is my youngest child, senior year. So this is it.
So I know you're all envious that I rode around in Dr. Hester's new sports car. And visited 3 middle schools in Topeka West, and went to the gymnasiums and the science classrooms, and enjoyed all of that. Enjoyed especially the gymnasiums, air conditioning. The other thing, Mr. Williams talked about 501 graduate. Well, my daughter, a 501 graduate, started nursing school today. So she's gone a long ways from Topeka High. The other thing I'd like to bring everybody's attention to, and I know that you perused all of the agenda, but this is special to me, and that is the grant from Kansas Department of Health and Environment for health. And it's going to allow us to look at policies regarding recess and physical activity throughout the day. It's going to strengthen policies about physical education related to student minutes in moderate to vigorous intensity activities. It's also going to have us look at nutrition. And I think as a physician, those are very important things. And as I've seen Topeka, starting from the 1980s through now, obtain obesity, starting when they're children with good nutrition and good activity is very important.
So, been an awesome start to the school year. Everybody had wonderful comments. I appreciate all your brevity. I'm going to be characteristic and follow suit and have no comments tonight. I think we're ready to entertain a motion to adjourn. The motion and the second, any discussion on the motion? Ms. Kirk?
Could we find the day?
Could we give Scott some dates that we have so that he can talk to his wife about those dates?
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about that. That does relate to this motion to adjourn, because we're going to adjourn and ideally go directly to Scott's house the next time we see each other. So, is it easier, Scott, for you to toss out dates that you know will work to us and for us to respond?
I'll do that.
I mean, I imagine that might make your wife happier. We can give her a date, you know.
How about the Monday of Labor Day weekend? I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that would be September 5th.
In the evening,
Yes.
I'm free.
if it's in the evening, I'm free.
How does it look for you? Okay. I am too.
Okay. I will confirm that with the boss at home. I'll send out an invitation.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kirk, too, for your vigilance and making sure we making sure we have good team building, fellowship, things where we don't discuss business but only talk about each other. Outside of business. Okay.
And display hidden talents, right?
That's right. Display hidden talents. So we will be bringing the guitars. Okay. So I think there's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion on that motion? If not, I think we're ready to vote. And all those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned.